Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to try to do this intro while not falling down a slightly large hill. We are on an annual visit, it's become kind of an annual thing, to the Minneapolis Rose Garden, where they basically have a whole bunch of varietals of roses cultivated, and they're usually in full bloom around now. That might be different this year because everything is ahead of schedule this year, but we'll see. And I just like to walk around and look at them and admire all of the colors and varietals, and I'm going to try to take some video. There are, people here, so I don't want to be obtrusive to them, so we'll do the best we can. But let me show you a cool thing in my part of Minneapolis. Let's go. To start, it looks like this. It actually extends back farther than that. This whole park is really nice. It's one of our biggest parks. There's like a bird sanctuary thing in here and some other garden and some other stuff and a lake over there. So there's a lot going on. This is one of the most frequented parks actually. But yeah, let's go see what's going on. I actually really like this thing that I have at the entrances. I wish I knew what it was. I don't, but it's pretty and it's cool and it looks cool. It's like an old-timey English garden feel in here, actually, in a way that I really enjoy. So yeah, not everything's, the border plants aren't all roses, and they have a lot of tea roses and other stuff mixed in the borders. They also have these nice benches interspersed that you can just sit and chill for a while. I think that's cool. So these are it gives you a little info on them so you can learn about what they are. It's pretty cool. They're shrub rose. I like it. It's just like, I like that they have the year, so you can see like these are kind of some of the more older 1970s, very traditional looking rose bush roses, right? Like these are a very traditional shrub rose. So nice. Ooh, just your classic red rose right here. This is it. With all of the layers and all of the everything. It's cool. These are just like roses, I appreciate that.
Right. I don't have a card for these.
That's cool. They're just regular. These are a cool shape.
Yeah.
I like these.
They're very floofy.
Floofy. It's a technical term, floofy. These are floofy roses.
I see them and I think floofy.
It's fair. So this is what these are. These are really pretty. Like this beautiful orange, yellow, pink. It just ends up being peachy, but if you look at it, it's like very subtly yellow inside and then pink on the outside, and it just transitions through this gorgeous peach shade. These are so pretty. And then there's also some that are a little bit more pale. I really like these. And like how dark coral orange they are when they're little buds. So cool. Here's another one that these are a very similar color, with like the yellow to pale pink, and then when they bud they're this nice peach color. They're a very similar idea, though I think they kind of go through, it looks like more of a life cycle of this sort of really bright pink. So I think they start out very orange and then end up like almost white pink, which I think is super cool. So this is a cool thing. These are the Easy Does It ones, but you see how it's on this big tree stick? They have them in the middle of a different kind. They're just on here. I don't know exactly what's happening. I don't know if they're really just trying to make rose trees, but or if they're this looks like an interesting sort of grafting project. I don't know what this is, but I think it's really cool how they clearly have them like on these big tall stems. Like I've never seen roses grown like this before. So I'm very fascinated. If anybody knows what is going on and what they're doing here, please tell me, because I really want to know. There's a bunch of them all over that looks like they're making rose trees, and I really want to know if that's what they're doing, because that seems really cool. These are really gorgeous. They're like this butter yellow color. They're very pale white. You can see here on the outsides, and then towards the inner they're just this rich yellow, and it makes the whole thing just, these are gorgeous, truly really pretty. I like these a lot. Here's the info on those. These are really pretty. Oh, so cool. These are also an interesting like color spectrum. I think this is great because it's the same kind of bush, but it's got this light peach color and then this almost like very brilliant purpley red. It's more purple in life than it looks on the phone. It looks very like coral red, but it has got a little bit of a bluer tone. It's almost a true red in it. And I just think it's cool that they're just these two same colors growing on the same stalk. That's really great. I really like these. I really like the classic kind of fuchsia pink, but then that pop of yellow orange color in the middle. I think that's really cool. Like these are just cool looking. They're less cool looking when they're almost bloomed out, but like this is a really good example. This is like perfect. Just that just bright yellow in the middle. I think it's a neat feature. That's all I'm gonna say. But we're not gonna go back here because there's like an event and stuff over here, it looks like. But I just think it's neat that they have these cool kind of big arch gated entrances, and then there's park just continues really far back. This is just a really well designed park. There's a fountain here which is currently closed because COVID, but it's just the architecture in this park is, it's very well designed. That's all. I don't know a lot about landscape architecture, but I know a little bit about landscape architecture, and this park is particularly well designed. These are also really cool. They're the same idea really as the ones I just showed you, but these are truly red with yellow in the center. They're called ketchup and mustard. It's a cool name, but this is a very true red rose with the yellow center, and I just think from looking at it from underneath you can see the yellow coming in the bottoms of the petals too. It's neat, isn't it? I think this is a really unique color combo and just structure and just plant in general. I like it. These are kind of my favorites. These are called Good as Gold, and they're definitely rose gold roses. I'm not mad about it. Like, look at this. They're amazing. They're pretty much rose gold. Somewhere there's a picture of me that I did a selective color. I did a little photo processing on it. Not much. I didn't mess with the colors. I just did a selective color to pull in the flower color, and it was when I had my rose gold hair, and it was just me with rose gold hair next to these roses, and my hair was the exact same color as them, and it was pretty amazing. And we're best friends now. So yeah, these are called Good as Gold, and they might possibly be my favorites, I think. These are cool. They're very peachy. They're like very blush peach color. But if you look at them up close, again, you can see it's a lot of really subtle shifts from white to yellow, especially this one. So these are called Sunset Celebration, which is a cool name, although Jonas has helpfully pointed out that there are not enough deep colors for you to truly be able to call this Sunset Celebration, but I still think they're really pretty. So these are ridiculously appropriately named. If I pan out and show you, like, they're called Camelot, and nothing invokes that feeling more than this flower. And really nothing explains this flower more than the word Camelot. So I think they're pretty perfectly named. These are also a really old type of rose, very old varietal, but they're such like classic garden party, you know, in the best way. Chill English garden party. I like them. They're that peachy pinky color that you just, you know, roses just were for a while. They were just kind of that color. It's good. These are like really in bloom right now. They're also pretty nice. They're really pretty color. They're just kind of this fun pink, peach, white. If you get in, you can really see on this one the variegation of the white into the pink, which I think is really neat. I'm just really impressed with how well these are blooming right now. Like they're rock stars right now. It's pretty great. These might be the best blooming ones right now, just like everywhere. They look really good.
Yeah, the yellow ones over there.
Yeah.
Looking good too.
These are nice too. They're Soul Desire. They're also this very pretty yellow colored. This, like, I love this. Before the blooms fully open, just like this vibrant gold yellow. And then they're blooming really well right now, and they just, this bright yellow, like very showy yellow bloom. These are very pretty. I like them. I've never really thought of myself as the sort of person who enjoyed yellow roses, but I think I might enjoy these quite a bit. So I really like these. These are cool too. They're called Artistry, which is another good name if you look at the way the colors fade through one another, and almost the fading and variegation on the tip as they grow into their blooms. They start out kind of this very dark coral and then fade into this pink, and then eventually the tips fade to white. I just think these are neat. They're very neat. They're very neat. It's very unique sort of patterning. I really like these. They're very close to just being your classic pink rose, pale pink, but they then have just this hint of gold in them that makes them a little bit fun. They're fun. Like, it's very, very hard to see, but you can see if you get up close the littlest bit of yellow and orange tone in the base of the petals, which I just think adds a little bit to the sort of classic pale pink rose. So we're almost done, but these are kind of right by the entrance. So what we do is, if you see, there's a path here, so we came up and walked on the right side of the path, and then we get to the end and we turn around and come back down. So we're back to the entrance, but it's also kind of the exit if you do it the way we're doing it. But these are really great because from a distance they just look white. Like, they just look like white roses. And then as you get closer to them, you see this very subtle blushing, and then they actually have like pink, and some of them have these just red border flecks around the edges. And these are sort of iconic for our park. Everyone talks about these. They're called the Betty White roses. Usually they're blooming way more than this. There's a lot of park maintenance that didn't get done this year for a lot of reasons, and also they did a lot of pruning, so you can see like things are cut way back this year, which is fine. It's fine. And you need to do that to rose bushes. They just happened to do a bunch of it all at once because people weren't really using the parks, so it kind of makes sense. These are cool too. And so yeah, then you get up here and you just get this nice border with a mix of colors and a mix of flowers and a mix of styles, and it's not all roses. It's just well done landscaping, honestly. Can't say enough good things about this place. It makes me really happy. If it were closer to me, which it isn't, I would come over here and sit on this bench and just hang out, but you have to drive. You can walk, but it's a little bit far for me to walk, so I don't. But if I did, I would just sit on this bench. I just saw these. These are called Tequila Gold, and they're orange, and I like them. So I thought I'd share them because I haven't seen these before. So that is our trip to the rose garden. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I love coming here, and we usually only come once a year, it's the same every year. It's not like they rip everything out and put in new roses, but it's still cool because you kind of forget, and then you remember and are like, oh yeah, these, I love these. And sometimes there's new kinds, and you never really know what you're gonna get and what's gonna be in bloom at any given time. So always a good adventure, and just really truly a cool space to hang out in a really nice park. I haven't admittedly seen most of the rest of this park, and I really should, because it looks like a pretty cool park all around. So yeah, let me know, what did you think? Did you have any favorites of the ones I showed you? You know anything about roses? Because I don't. So if you do, let me know. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I totally got anything wrong, because I might have. That's highly probable, in fact. And yeah, have you been here if you're a local? And then also, like, what other spots in and around the Twin Cities metro area do you think I should go see and do a video on, or just go see? I'm trying to do more adventure, like travel, go see things videos. So my video uploads are going to be a lot more irregular. I just realized that it's hard for me to, especially in the summer, to stick to the sustained once a week schedule. It's just, I have a lot of other things going on, and I have, a full-time job that's not YouTube. So making a whole video every week is starting to feel like more work than reward, and I didn't like that. It didn't make me feel good. So what's going to happen is I'm now going to post more sporadically as I have content, and I think a lot more of it will be this kind of, hey, we popped into a cool space locally, here's what it is, kind of video. And then if we ever actually go anywhere else, we'll do it. And then sometimes I'll do some tennis stuff. If I get anything cool, I'll show it to you as usual, but I really am going to try for more of this style of video. So let me know what you think about that. If you have thoughts on content you'd like to see or whatever, and if you liked this, give me a thumbs up. If not, thumbs down. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell, and it will tell you when I sporadically post videos. It will always be on a Thursday, I promise you that. It just might not be every Thursday. Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Time. And that's it from me. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye.